in moderation, if you plan it out right and you have a wide variety mix of different proteins and different greens and different reds and different fibers, you can come pretty close to what the body needs to maintain health. Now, you start changing parameters a little for competitive athletes, the rules now change. For somebody who is ill, the rules now change. For somebody who is getting maybe older and a lifestyle changes where they're not as physically active, the rules now change.
Today, continuing our wellness series, we're joined by Bill from Wealth of Health Natural Market. Welcome to the We Share podcast. I'm Julie.
I'm Alex.
We share ourselves and we provide a platform for others to share.
We believe everyone has a purpose and a story to tell.
Welcome back to the We Share podcast. I'm Julie.
And I'm Alex.
And today we have a good friend of ours personally, a good friend of mine on the radio program because I've had him on to guest host and just multiple interviews. He's a wealth of knowledge, which is a play on words.
Yes.
We refer to him as Bill from Wealth of Health. Bill owns a local supplement and health food store here in East Idaho, and one of my favorites. I visit all of the time. So thank you, Bill, for joining us on the program today.
And thank you for having me. Yeah.
All right. So, Bill, it's January, big time for people making new health goals. At the store at Health of Wealth, do you see a big influx of people or people asking questions, trying to find information?
Not really a spike in January per se, although probably month of December, we start seeing people doing detoxes, liver cleanses. I don't know if that has anything to do with quote unquote New Year's resolutions, but the crazy stuff on TikTok and social media that's driving a lot of these people in regardless of the time of year. So I think the gyms see a lot more of the New Year's resolutions people for about 30 days, and then they disappear in February. For us, it's a pretty steady, unless, somebody finds out that they have a issue and it just happens to fall in January.
Yeah. So more often than not, it's just general wellness. People come to you.
Yes. And that's a nonstop. That's all the time.
Tell them what, I think some people might think that, you're just selling vitamins. Wealth of Health is so much more than that. So give them an idea of what's available in the store.
Well, it's not just what's available in the store, but number one, this is our 55th year in business.
Oh, congratulations.
So fourth generation, our grandkids are now running around and helping customers and helping or asking them if they can help them. And then they help us unload the trucks and all that. So those 55 years, we have employees who've been with us for 27. We just lost a 27 retire gal. We have 2 employees with us at 25 years. We have Steve Gardner, you remember? Yeah. Mm-hmm. He's our manager now. He's a personal trainer and managed GNC beforehand. And of course, Dasha and I basically opened the Apple Athletic Club when it was west side on by Albertsons downtown athletic club. And then with Steve and Kathy, we're very parallel lines with that business. I mean, it's incredible because we talk all the time. Family owned, really service dedicated, avoid all the noise, the background and all that stuff out there, and just provide service to people. And so all that, we live at the gym. They have couches with our names at the Apple.
It's true.
You see,
I see you every day.
Us and I see you.
Yeah.
We cross country ski, we downhill ski, we cycle, we lift weights. So we're at the gym 6 days a week. So it becomes a lot more than a lifestyle, or a lot more than just selling supplements. You probably have store owners or managers that purely sell supplements, but for us, it's a lifestyle. That lifestyle allows us not to go to doctors, not to take prescription medications, not to have any major health issues ever. I mean, here and there, something will pop up. If you need an antibiotic for an infection or whatever, we're not against that. But our overall lifestyle gives us that health that people dream of and say, boy, if we don't have that, then everything else goes by the wayside. Mm-hmm. So we're not afraid to give advice to people. If you walk into a lot of the corporate chains, they're not allowed by corporate rules. And so if you're lucky, you may get an elbow pointing to a shelf. We will engage people. If people ask us questions, we're not afraid, as long as we're within the bounds of the law, not to diagnose, treat,
Right.
prescribe. We will tell people our experiences with XYZ for XYZ condition is such and such. And amongst all our employees, we probably have seen most of everything except maybe some incredibly rare or major health
You've
conditions.
probably dealt with autoimmune and heart conditions and bad knees and
Yeah, and it's incredible. People come to us, they think that we know everything from prostate cancer to libido problems to breast cancer to digestive, and none of us are technically educated in medical professions. This is just years and years and years and years of hearing from other customers and hearing what is helping them and what is not helping them. And then obviously attending many medical trainings with doctors, with authors, with herbalists, with practitioners, with doing my own radio show for years and years with Neil at the helm. So experience and that personal knowledge and personal expertise is why people come to us.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, they're doing exactly what we hope most people would do, is sharing information with your experiences from like your own personal experiences. I want to know personally what you take now. Like, what would a daily regimen or weekly regimen look like for you?
So interestingly enough, not a lot. Because, and I tell this to people right up front when they start asking me the same question, it comes up all the time. We spend the money on groceries and gym membership. So I shop probably 3 times a week. I'm the shopper, Dasha is the cooker. And she cooks from scratch, probably 6 days a week, 5 days a week, and I shop. So fresh stuff, clean meats, obviously we have a lot of it in the store, but some of the stuff that we don't, I am at Albertsons and I am at everywhere else. And so when you buy quality, cleaner, more expensive proteins and veggies, rather than the middle of the store with processed foods, you probably don't have to take as many pills or supplements. Okay. And so I tell people, look, you can either spend the money on a lot of pills and a lot of bottles and doctor's visits and sort of patch your little bleeding wounds with Band-Aids, or you can start seriously addressing the core problems with, if it's a diabetes, you know what the problem is. You have to be willing to make the change. Now, if somebody has arthritis, that is a surgical, most likely at some point, unless it's early stages where you can reverse it. But at some point, it's either a knee replacement or a hip replacement. There's not a lot we can do if the person has worn out their joints. So I take, for me, every day is curcumin supplement as an anti-inflammatory and mild pain. I mean, I do have L5S1 discs. I have one repaired shoulder and one torn shoulder. So I don't take ibuprofen, Tylenol, Advil, any of that stuff. So for me, curcumin is a daily pain management and anti-inflammatory supplement. And I do take protein powder every day, sometimes twice a day, depending on what my day is going to look like. Other than that, it may be a spotty, if I'm getting sick, I'm going to load high on vitamin D additional, vitamin C additional, maybe zinc additional, maybe certain things to specifically address cold, flu, infection. But on a daily basis, really, like a curcumin
you're getting
and
your
a
true
protein
vitamins from your food.
from my food. Yeah. And people
Which
will
is
say
where
it's
you're supposed
difficult.
to.
Well, that's the nature intended. People say, well, it's difficult. You can't eat a cow a day, or you can't do this. But in moderation, if you plan it out right and you have a wide variety mix of different proteins and different greens and different reds and different fibers, you can come pretty close to what the body needs to maintain health. Now, you start changing parameters a little for competitive athletes, the rules now change. For somebody who is ill, the rules now change. For somebody who is getting maybe older and a lifestyle changes where they're not as physically active, the rules now change. So everybody obviously is custom made as far as supplements or nutrition, depending on where they are in life at their stage.
So my question about supplements is, I know it's not FDA regulated, right?
Correct.
So how do you I know we can trust you because we can go into your store, but for those listening maybe elsewhere, what are things they can look for to know if a supplement is good?
Right. So our industry is a self-regulated industry. 55 years of business made us understand the bad players and the good players. The bad players typically will go away after so many years because if they get caught enough times, the news spreads, and eventually, no matter how good your marketing and advertising is and how big your full-page ads in magazines are, eventually people will say, nah, I just don't have a warm fuzzy. The good companies, and we've stuck with many of them since 1960s when they first started. Our store opened in 71, but some of the companies go back to 50s, 60s. Initially, they may have been bought out, but the core is still there. So we typically stick with most of these companies rather than expanding into brand new stuff, and we just expand the lines. If we can't find either the hottest trend or something new, we scrutinize them. If solicitors obviously hit us up every single day. Emails, we have the best of this, we have the best of that. We will ask them questions like, show us your third-party certificate of analysis. It has to come not from your marketing department, but it has to come from an independent third-party lab that takes your bottle, multiple bottles of multiple lots manufactured on different dates, opens them up, puts them under the microscope and says, well, you're claiming you have so many milligrams of XYZ ingredients. Yes, you do. Or nope, you're missing here and here and here. And unless they can show us that via email or some other paperwork documentation, we say we're not interested.
You're not going to carry the product.
Correct. Absolutely not. Because there's a liability issue, there's insurance issue, there's a trust issue with consumers. I could sell anybody anything once. Mm-hmm. But if it doesn't work, what did it accomplish? Okay.
Right.
So we look very carefully again at the manufacturers. And I would say 80% of our supplements are companies that have been around since that long. And we go back with them or their predecessors or their, we have some of the now managers or VPs or presidents of those companies were originally our sales reps in 1970s and 80s. So, and then we also know that there are some brand new companies that form by the employees who quit some of the existing companies who wanted some innovation that they couldn't get, or they had a brilliant idea and the old management wasn't listening. So they go start up their funds. New companies, they get the partners, they get funding. Sometimes they're in bed with European pharmaceutical companies because there's a lot more interest in Europe treating with natural remedies than prescription meds. And so there are some new things out there, but again, we can vouch for every product on the shelf. If once in a while we get very, very educated, we call them consumers, they will come in and say, I want proof that this label is exactly what it is. And if you give me 1 week, 2 weeks possibly, I will get them the paperwork for that lot number with that expiration date, and it'll tell them if we claim that it's got 750 milligrams of curcumin, it's going to have 760 milligrams of curcumin. So people listening outside of Idaho Falls, obviously, rely on your small independent health food stores. You cannot go into Walmart and ask Walmart to show you the manufacturing data. One of the biggest problems in our industry, companies are getting bought out right and left. The small companies are getting acquired by the big behemoths. And then within a year or two, you start seeing ingredients change, labels change. They're trying to make it cheaper so they could sell to the behemoths easier. And there are some requirements by these behemoths to have certain price points and certain price levels. And if they don't sell it, company has to come in and take all that product out of be it Sam's Club or Costco or
right.
Walmart. So we don't have that. With us, it's, look, if it doesn't work, and you came to us and we trusted you one time, you're basically gone, because in our small industry, it's a relatively small industry. We're talking about maybe 100,000 stores, independent stores around the United States. The word will spread very quickly. Mm-hmm. And we will know that, I don't want to name brands, but once somebody gets published in Federal Register for violating once twice, 3 times. They send them a warning letter. They penalize them. They fine them. They do all kinds of stuff. Then you go, and why am I selling this or why am I carrying this? Unless my sole purpose is to make money and profit, which a lot of those companies will let you do. But then your trust with your consumer, and we have a lot of third-generation customers in the store. It's grandmas, moms, and now kids.
Yeah, well, it speaks volumes. If it's been 55 years of Wealth of Health, you're going to have that knowledge, plus the trust of the community, because you wouldn't have lasted that long.
Yeah, not too many independents survive, especially with like one location. There's not that many independents that can survive that long.
Can you order online?
We have a website, but we purposely didn't want to do an e-commerce website because it's a completely different consumer outlook. It's a mentality mostly on price. We have a lot of customers that order from all over the world, either with an email or a phone call.
Okay.
And we ship all over the world to diplomatic outposts from people who lived here and now are someplace else, to families who've moved from here, or people who've told people, regardless, from all points of the United States and overseas.
That might seem bizarre to some people, but I love that there's still the closeness
customer
of that.
service.
Yeah.
And we yell sometimes at our employees to spend less time because they will be on the phone with somebody for an hour explaining, and we're like, hey, we have customers in a store and this person is on the phone. You don't even know if they will become our customer, but they're programmed to educate with facts and with explaining the label and what's the difference between brand A and brand B. At the end of the day, consumer makes the decision. Right.
Okay, so if you're just speaking to the general person who's never, had an experience with supplements, hasn't dived into that, what would you say to them? Come to the store, chat with Steve, chat with someone?
So it's very difficult to find somebody who hasn't had any experience with any supplement. Because when we walk into people's homes for parties and whatever, we see not even our stuff, but we see bottles from grocery stores or from Walmart or from whatever. So they do have experience with supplements because the news, the publicity, the actual research, whether you listen to ABC, NBC, CBS, Fox, CNN, it doesn't matter. Constant barrage of information on improving health. And now, especially the last year with RFK Jr., it has become a real turn, which we've been preaching for years and years and years. You have the government who wants to make you sicker, so you rely back on the government to treat you, versus taking care of your own, even though it may cost you a little bit more. And we do have customers who say, well, but my insurance will cover a copay $5 drug, but they won't cover a $25 supplement.
Which is what's wrong with America.
I understand the financial point. There are people who are struggling. Not everybody is as fortunate as maybe we are, where we can walk in and say, you know what, if you're telling me this is going to help my problem without a drug, I am willing to spend it. We do have a lot of people on fixed incomes and people who are struggling. So I understand the sentiment, but if people honestly, understand that the drugs, either all the drugs, but by the fact that they become prescription, either have so many issues that they have to be by prescription, so you just can't go buy them over and over and over the counter, or the drugs don't fix any problems. The drugs either kick something to respond or suppress something that's overactive.
Right, like just treat a symptom.
Correct. So food is medicine. That goes back to hundreds of years to original doctors' trainings and the hypocrisies oath. Use food as medicine. Instead of filling yourself with donuts and Twinkies, nothing against the morning program and the show, and all the comments.
Do you guys do?
No, all the comments that come out
Twinkies?
about what you have and Neil and you. I laugh sometimes. I'm driving. How many sodas or how many?
He drinks nonstop soda.
Yeah.
Still, the Dr. Pepper thing is going.
Oh, I
Sean?
haven't had.
I know
don't
you
drink soda
haven't.
at all. But
You used to, right? A
I
long time
used
ago.
to,
Yeah,
and I was
yeah.
like, I've got to get my life together.
And
I
has
can't
it
do
has
this.
it made a difference? Has it
Absolutely.
changed? Yeah.
Well, I had a ton of inflammation after COVID. Even though I didn't get diagnosed with COVID, there's something different
Right.
with my body, and I went, I've got to make a difference here. I've got to change some
Right.
things. So soda went away.
Yeah, if you start analyzing individual worst of the worst enemies on a food list or the drink list, it is mind-boggling what people are putting in their bodies. It's not like, well, I just had a soda. If you break that soda down, regular soda, 12-ounce can is literally 10 teaspoons of sugar, 50 grams in a regular. How many times people drink more than one a day?
Yeah.
Okay. So especially if you're hooked on the caffeine part, you have to keep the habit going. So if you're drinking the Dr. Pepper or the Mountain Dew multiple times a day, not only you're getting a ton of unpronounceable chemicals with carbonation, with sugar, but the caffeine, constant wear and tear on the adrenal glands. And after so many years, the person says, I have a fight or flight problem. My cortisol is off the charts. Well, what did you do? Well, I drank soda here and there, but they're not telling you the truth of the actual consumption habits. And then people say, well, if I go to the diet soda, our brain is wired where the compensation for the lack of sugar with the artificial sweetener is going to make you consume excess calories in other ways and means by the end of the day.
Right.
Nobody ever lost weight by switching to diet soda. People have gained weight. And that's just the body saying, well, you're not giving me sugar. I'm going to make you eat an extra slice of bread or half a loaf of bread or whatever it is to get the calories, the empty calories.
Do you consume caffeine?
In a pure cup of coffee.
Okay.
Absolutely. We have an espresso machine at home because
It's good for you
coffee,
in the morning.
coffee is not just in the morning. Coffee is medicine.
Yeah.
If you read the incredible amount of research on coffee, and we're measuring in European cups, the little espresso cups, 2 to 4 per day, which may be equivalent to 1 American cup, not a mug,
Right.
not a 50
Yes.
ounce.
With a bunch of creamer and sugar,
Yeah,
not
yeah,
that.
or
You're
a
doing pure coffee.
A drive-through. Yeah, we have an espresso machine, and we have a steamed milk a little bit, so it comes out. We like a cappuccino, but no sweeteners, none of that stuff. And the medicinal benefit of coffee, not just from antidepressant, anti-diabetic, brain function, anti-cancerous because of polyphenols. The coffee bean is the same as the chocolate cacao, dark chocolate. It's the same as the red grape seed. It's the same as raspberries and blueberries. It's a medicine. I always get into the discussion with our LDS friends. Well, you're drinking Mountain Dew, but you're against coffee.
And that is so much worse for you.
So much worse for you. And they come up with 50 excuses, from the temperature being hot that they're not allowed to do it to something is prohibited. And I go, but you will take a prescription medicine that is not really good for your body. You have no problem with that. But you're okay drinking caffeine in a soda, monster drink.
The monster drinks kill me. I don't
They're
even
killing people.
understand.
We have LDS employees. They drink monster drinks nonstop. We're like, you work in a health food store. You're drinking monster drinks. You won't touch a cup of coffee. And
But you'll have that.
We have local Stephen Harry's coffee that they roast here in Idaho Falls, which is amazing. Organic coffee they source from all over the world. We love to support local. You can have that 1 cup of coffee, 200 milligrams of caffeine, the amount of medicine you get, plus the aroma. I mean,
Oh, it
Yeah,
smells
your
so
whole
good.
house
when you
That's
walk through
good.
the airport, it's like...
Yeah.
So people really have to make choices, or they have to understand what you put into you. It makes a big difference how you feel, how you act, how you go for a year, 2, 3 without maybe health issues, or you're bound to a chair and you're not exercising and you don't feel good and you're foggy and depressed, and inflammation is cause of every major disease, whether it was caused by COVID virus or whether it's caused by a ton of junk food.
I love to have Bill in studio because Neil and
so true.
Neil and I butt heads all the time because he thinks I'm weird because I don't eat candy. Like, and I'm like, I just don't like it.
Yeah.
When I put a piece of candy in my mouth, it is so sugary, or
You've gotten used to, you got to go through that withdrawal, and Neil's just never gone through the withdrawal.
I have to tell you, there's nothing that I don't eat per se. So we're not like food police where we go, no, don't eat that. Candy, I'm just like you. I have absolutely no desire. Okay. I have no desire for alcohol, even though I can drink because I'm not LDS per se, but I'm not like craving a beer constantly to have a 6-pack at the end of the day. Or when people go to bars and they drink and drink and drink, nothing against them. I just have no desire for that. But if you put a piece of really good pie,
or
a homemade cheesecake, or like a flourless chocolate cake, oh hell, I can eat the whole thing during the baseball playoffs. And
Bill and I could travel together.
Well, because it's made with love and whole ingredients, not a bunch of chemicals.
Even I'm not even gonna say that, Bart. But you put even if it's a store-made pie, I will take that ahead of a candy.
Yes.
Of an empty sort of even I don't know, donuts.
I think mine's Great Harvest bread, like just fresh bread.
Right.
Like I like
put a fresh bread in front of me. Absolutely, I won't stop. I will go. But but I pick my poison.
Yes.
You have to make choices. You can't have all of it. And I tell people, actually, the best dessert in the world is ice cream, because it's protein, fat, and carbs. So if the brand is not overloaded in sugar, and they're using very few ingredients outside of the cream and chocolate,
like fresh raspberries or something,
like 5 ingredients on the back.
Right,
like
and there are a handful of brands out there that make good, clean ice cream, and then there's a bunch of stuff that the label is half a foot long of chemical this, chemical that. Your body needs some sugar because your brain, you function on sugar. The fat blunts how quickly sugar that you're eating converts into insulin and makes pancreas work. So if you're eating a candy that is sugar, 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 or soda that is sugar, 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 you're pumping insulin out instantly and in high amounts, and the pancreas is working until it no longer produces pancreas. You become type 2 dependent diabetic on insulin. But if you eat whole fruit that has a fiber in the skin, or vegetables that have a lot of fiber, or you blunt your potato with sour cream on top of it, it changes how the body produces insulin. So I laugh when I see people eat pancakes but don't put any butter on it, and they go, I don't want to gain weight. Or they say, I eat the biggest baked potato out there, but no, I'm not going to put any sour cream on it because I don't want to gain weight.
Yeah.
The sour cream is fat.
I do cottage cheese, and I do full fat cottage cheese. I don't do that reduced stuff.
Ever don't do any no fat, low fat. Full fat has so many benefits that you just have to be moderating, and you have to watch during the day what your total consumption is.
But it's going to help with satiety. So it's going to keep you fuller longer.
Fat and protein.
It's going to taste better.
Yeah.
So
Absolutely.
Yeah.
How about gluten-free? I know you carry some gluten-free products. Have you seen the repeat customers who have gotten better with their gluten as they've started taking care of their diet?
And so years ago, people said that's just a fad. That is crazy. Some individual, this gluten-free, they're pushing the next thing. Then you had some Hollywood celebrities who came out and says, hey, I'm gluten-free. And well, what does that mean? And years ago, doctors couldn't even diagnose what gluten-free was. If you went in and presented symptoms, there were no tests, there was nothing. The easiest thing was, and Dasha is gluten-free, she's not celiac disease, so getting into gluten isn't going to kill her as it would a celiac person. But it makes you very uncomfortable in many different ways, and different people manifest symptoms in many different ways.
Tummy problems,
gluten intolerance. Tummy problems. I had yesterday a customer who, maybe not a dinner conversation, rectal bleeding. So they go to the emergency room because they think they have cancer. They had a polyp, non-cancerous polyp that was irritated by gluten.
Yeah.
And so today the doctors are much, much more aware of gluten intolerance because you have millions of people saying, look, I don't care if I'm this, that, what your test shows, but if I quit gluten, I feel a lot better. So more and more and more people who come into the store and say, I just, no matter what I eat, I feel like I'm 9 months pregnant. I am bloated. I'm gassy. I'm doing this at the table. I'm doing that at the table. Start looking at certain foods that may be offending to you individually, and you get 10 people with 10 different offenses. Mm-hmm. You can have a very rare offense to carrots. You can have very rare issue with oats. But out of the 10 people, 8 or 9 will have a gluten issue or a dairy issue.
Yeah, I was going to say, for me, it's dairy. I just really don't like dairy.
Dairy, corn, and soy. Those are the top 4, especially with the GMO corn and soy. We've had customers over the years. I gave up popcorn. Why? Well, because it made me sick every time I ate popcorn. We said, well, what do you eat? Orville Redenbacher or whatever. We say, switch to an organically grown popcorn. Newman's has one, Paul Newman's daughter, and there's a bunch of them. They come back and they go, wow, I didn't have any problems. So the GMO in a popcorn or some other chemicals in a production of Orville Redenbacher or whatever brand made them feel uncomfortable eating popcorn. Same thing with soybeans. With milk, it's interesting. So you have the lactose intolerance, that's sugar. The milk contains 2 proteins, casein and whey, W-H-E-Y. Casein is the cheaper offending, gas bloating, bad protein. Whey is the premium protein. Very expensive to isolate whey when you process milk. You take the liquid off the top of cottage cheese. That's crude, unprocessed whey. It has a lot of milk, fat, milk byproducts, milk everything. As you start processing it out, depending on what you ultimately want in your final product, you start processing that stuff out. And so if you get to the point of pure whey isolate, most people have no issues making a drink, smoothie, as long as they put water, some fruit, from whey isolate, and though they have a problem drinking milk. Mm-hmm. So if you buy a very cheap protein, and there's lots of them everywhere, that have
fillers, a lot of other fillers in it.
It may be fillers, it may not be, but if it has a lot of casein, and you can tell there are formulas on how to figure out the purity of the protein. So you can walk in and see a $30 container of cheap protein and a $60 container of pure whey isolate. There's a reason of that $30 price difference is processing out impurities until you're at 99.7% milk-free. It's just whey. And generally people have no problem. So the one issue is the casein. The second issue now, and this is the last 10 years, is A2 milk versus conventional milk. Somebody in California usually finds all this crazy stuff that spreads later to the United States. They realized that certain cows only carried A2 gene. So the cows were not modified in any way. They just carried A2 gene, where conventional cows carry A1 and A2 gene. So conventional cows produce a lot of casein in their milk. So you would get the problems that you're talking about. Mm-hmm. You do A2 milk, and all of a sudden they can drink it, and they can eat the cheese, and they can have A2 sour cream, because that particular casein is now gone out of the A2. And fortunately, we have a farm in Monteview, locally here. We sell, we're their number one seller. We outsell Brolem's. They sell to Reed's Dairy. We outsell them. We outsell all of them combined. We keep the prices a little bit better. But all of us, Brolem's, Reed's Dairy, there's places in Rigby, all of us have A2 milk. More and more and more people will try goat milk or goat cheese or sheep milk, sheep cheese, and say, you know what, I have no problem doing that. We tell them, try A2. They come back and they go, wow, I didn't have any problems. And so that has become a big, big issue comparing to conventional milk. And now I'm seeing A2 in Albertsons. I'm seeing A2, not even in Paradise Grove brand, but in Albertsons in-house brand, A2 milk. Now they have 2 brands of A2 milk. The demand is driving the supply, and people are finding out they can tolerate certain things and they cannot tolerate certain other things.
I had not even heard of A2.
I didn't know any of that. But I don't do a lot of dairy, so I wouldn't be in
but
this.
It doesn't bother me.
Don't you think it's just because we didn't like how it makes us feel?
I only eat things that taste good. And I think a lot of people put cheese on stuff and it doesn't even change the taste of
I do love cheese, but
ya?
if it's good cheese,
I think
I'm
cheese
fine
on a
with
burger,
cheese.
blue cheese on a salad, like
Yeah.
Sure, but
crumbles.
I
Feta.
think people throw cheese on
feta.
just about everything, and I'm
Right.
like, did it
Well,
change
or
it?
it's
Did it make it
processed
better?
cheese.
Yeah.
It's like not even real. That is not good
Yeah,
for
you're
you.
talking about Velveeta.
Yeah.
That's not cheese. That's
No.
just whiz in a can. But it's the same thing with the American slices. That's not regular cheese. That's not
Yeah.
real cheese. That's I don't know how they do it, what they do it. And talking about feta.
I love feta.
The difference, if you're in Greece and you're eating goat feta versus regular milk feta in the U.S., you would never eat milk feta after
I
you
know,
had goat
it's
milk
so-
feta.
Is that good?
Yeah. Oh, it's
We used to
amazing.
just have a brick in my fridge growing up that you could just like cut off some of the. It's my dad's Greek, and like that's
Kalamata
Yeah.
olives comparing to
Love
California
them.
olives, there's
Oh,
just
yeah.
no comparison. Taste versus cardboard.
yeah.
So going back to the milk, are
Yeah.
you a proponent of like oat milk or almond milk?
Nope. No. First of all, you can't call them milks now. It's
Okay.
illegal. They're drinks.
Oh,
the
okay.
dairy industry sued almond, rice, all of those guys and says you cannot call them milk because it's not milk. So that's just a
Interesting.
sidebar. Yeah.
Okay.
And the nuts used for almond milk are like the reject nuts. So
Yeah,
they're
a lot of them are
even
not
good.
the primo almond that you would use for consumption. And in commercial manufacturing, they're putting binders and other things, thickeners into almond milk to make it. Otherwise, it would be like water. Drinking water. So if you put it in a bowl of cereal, it's not very tasty. You have to have something thicker. And milk and cookies, you can't substitute
Yeah,
that. Even
yeah.
Santa, it's just, you can't have almond milk and cookies. It's just not the same. It's
Yes.
just not right. But we don't drink milk like people do by glasses of milk. None of not our daughter, not the grandkids. We do, in the winter months, they ask for hot chocolate. But hot chocolate commercially is one of the worst things you can do. Highest amount of sugar and processing. Or chocolate milk, same thing. So we had, one of our companies had protein powder that was a hot cocoa protein powder. So we will mix it with milk, and at least they're getting some protein with a little bit of milk.
And it tastes like hot chocolate.
Right, and it tastes like hot chocolate. So we kind of look at lesser of the evil. But if people have to have milk and they have no issues digestively with consuming milk, have glass of milk, have your cereal with milk if that's what you need.
Don't go to the oat milk. Don't go to the...
Right. But don't put the glass of milk in front of a kid as a substitute for water. Mm-hmm. And I watch people come out from grocery stores with 6-8 gallons in their shopping cart. And that's just for a few days because kids have been programmed by the Dairy Council and by the little placemats in schools with the real seal. Milk is good for you. And so they're starting to drink milk from very early age. Milk has a lot of problems with the autoimmune conditions until a certain age. Even the cow weans the baby at about a year or less. So the human is the only animal that continues consuming milk in the amount that we consume milk for the rest of our life. And then you start developing autoimmune conditions. Milk contains foreign proteins that get into the stomach and intestine. They don't belong there. And that starts causing everything from rheumatoid arthritis to lupus to any autoimmune condition. You can sit there and say, what is causing it? And you can start looking at what are you eating? What are you drinking? What is getting in that's not supposed to be getting in? And your body is reacting to it. You're attacking, your own immune system is attacking your joint, or it's attacking your brain, or it's attacking your liver, or it's attacking your kidneys. That's promoted by either stress or trauma or something in the diet, which is the most common, that you're just doing every day and you're not even paying attention to it.
So I have grandkids, right? One that's almost 4, one that's just about to turn 1. One of my favorite things, and I know industries exist to make money, and geez, has the Stanley mug craze made them a lot of money? But my grandsons, they have mugs. And when they're thirsty, they just run over, grab the mug off the kitchen counter, take a huge swig of water and put the mug back up. That is a huge benefit because my kids didn't do that. We didn't have those things back then. So they'd come to me and say, I'm thirsty. And then I'd get them a glass of.
You didn't have the sippy cups? Because
I had sippy cups, but they always leaked. And so I never used them with my kids. And so I love the mugs because the kids just know.
I had sippy cups and they would get their chocolate milk, but then after that, it was water.
Yeah, even the 11-month-old has a mug, and he crawls over and grabs it and takes a drink and crawls away. Like it's really a good thing.
Yeah, no, absolutely. I agree. And that's somebody obviously has given them an example, either mom and dad or grandma and grandpa, whatever, and they've seen you go to the faucet instead of a soda can, whether it's a plastic bottle, which we obviously never recommend, or reusable stainless. They've been programmed. We, shameless plug. We just got a brand new Hydro Flask design. They got the rights from the author of The Little Hungry Caterpillar.
Oh, cute.
So I am like, are you kidding me? You put this in front of a 10 months old? They will never let it go. Yeah. So that's obviously marketing, and that's genius. And stainless steel bottles. We try to tell people not only you have a big estrogen issue from plastic bottles, pollution obviously is there, and you have to travel out to see the mass amount of pollution in some countries that don't have the very good pickup and trash collection. And when we go and travel into Pacific Island scuba diving and you get into a vortex of trash that's floating, you've probably heard and seen videos. Nasty in the Indonesian islands or some other place. You're sitting there going, where did this come from? And it could come from China, it could come from Japan, it could come from anywhere. But absolutely, the reusable bottles, whether it's stainless or even better quality plastic, not only do they hold ice and no waste, absolutely, and kids will learn and they will follow it. We put electrolyte powders into our grandkids' bottles, and we call it juice. So when they sit down to eat dinner, or they were just at swimming practice, their juice is water with a little bit of electrolytes, and so that's for us to get some vitamin C and some minerals into them without having them swallow a dedicated or pill or whatever it is, where they may say, no, I don't want that, I hate that. But if it's your juice, that's fine.
They're good. Yeah. My daughter had some difficulty getting pregnant. She had suffered a miscarriage. Then there was just no success and no success and no success. She cleaned all the plastics out of her house and started on some supplements, guided by a nurse practitioner. And she now has a beautiful little boy. But it's a great habit because now it's all gone out of their home, and they just use all glass or stainless on everything.
Yeah, women many times have no idea that they don't realize the damage that environmental estrogens cause in the body. And estrogen is everywhere, from chemical sprays to nail polishes to brand new carpet in a house to brand new paint. And
they've even talked about
BP,
female care. Female, tampons.
Tampons that are not organic cotton, for example. Yeah. All of that is estrogenic on the body. And that estrogen is not the good estrogen that you need to carry as a hormone. And so you wind up piling this bad estrogen, which then puts the load on the liver, because the liver is your filter. It processes everything out. And women walk around with non-cancerous benign fibroids from the size of a grapefruit to the smaller ones in the uterus, in the breast. And they're going, why am I growing them like mushrooms? And then you start looking at, well, what's your diet? What's your lifestyle? And they will rattle off all the stuff that is loaded and loaded and loaded with estrogenic chemicals. And you say, you know what, you can change it. Number one, lifestyle change. Number two, there is a way to force the body to get rid of that estrogen. It'll take a year or so. There are some cruciferous greens, for example. You got broccoli, cauliflower extracts that are made in specifically for the purpose of transporting bad estrogen out. All of a sudden, they go on retest, and those fibroids are gone, or they're shrunk to the size of invisible. Yeah. But that's a big issue.
Yeah. I have no idea if what you're talking about
Might
occurred
have
in
contributed.
Yeah, but I had a fibroid in my breast. I was doing every 3 months because they were watching it.
Yeah, for
so
cancer.
I go in, it's gone. It's gone. And
you've totally changed your diet.
I have
though.
really cleaned up my diet over the
those
past 4
sodas.
years. Yeah, it's great. Like, I feel so much better. I still am struggling a little bit with inflammation, and I think
Right.
that's COVID related, and it's carrying forward. But I do know I feel so much better when I'm eating clean, and I don't suffer with that inflammation.
Inflammation is an interesting animal. Unless you go in and have a blood test called C-reactive protein, you really don't know. You can suspect inflammation, but there is a blood test that will tell you that you have systemic inflammation throughout the body. Your symptoms may give you some idea. You bleeding gums, achy knees, your heart is inflamed, the cardiologist says. So then you start going, okay, so this, and this, that's a systemic body inflammation. Then the blood test would confirm 100 or above on a CRP test. Other than that, people don't have an idea. What is inflammation? They hear about inflammation causing all diseases, all illnesses, but they have no idea what inflammation is. And everything from crappy diet to even good workout, you're promoting inflammation in the body.
in the joint because you're tearing those muscles, micro tears that have to get repaired.
There's good inflammation. There's controlled inflammation. When people have PRP, is the protein-rich plasma injections, the doctor says, I want you to promote inflammation. Don't take anti-inflammatories because that's the body's mechanism to heal the joint that I just injected you with your PRP. So inflammation is good. You just have to understand that if there's a red light on the dashboard, don't pull the bulb out. Figure out what's causing that red light. Is the engine really overheating or you have a bad connection?
Right. Love it. Love it. That's how we figured out the inflammation as I took the blood test you're talking about. And my nurse practitioner actually said, I think the reason you're not in a full-blown autoimmune is because you actually take care of yourself. You protect your sleep, you work out, you eat decent, probably 90% of the time. You're staving off a full-blown autoimmune disease at this point.
Yeah, honestly, if you woke up every day to a bowl of cereal and then had a burger and fries for lunch and like the typical U.S. diet, you within
I
a
would be
week
on
would be
multiple
sick.
prescriptions.
Yeah, see, you guys probably can't even imagine that because you don't do that.
No, because we both basically intermittent fast, drink a certain amount of water before this point. I have my coffee. She doesn't. We do greens.
Yeah.
And I mean, my lunch
Take my
consisted of a
magnesium. I
salad.
love my magnesium. It's a supplement I'm not going to give up. And
because it's got so many bodily functions. It's incredible. Magnesium is probably the most important single mineral in the body and very difficult to eat it. And so once people start realizing with certain symptoms or complaints, a lot of it can be resolved by magnesium, from the brain to the cramps in the leg. I mean, it's just...
Well, also, I mean, this isn't dinner talk ever either.
Yeah.
But people should poop regularly, and those people
every day.
I have clients who don't. I have a
crazy
client
to
who
me.
went something like 17 days.
What?
She was hurting so bad, and I'm like, man, you got to fix whatever's going on here because that's just something that should be happening.
For us, it's very common because we get these people. We get them all the time. They come to us sometimes as a last resort. Sometimes they're just not happy what they're hearing, that it's normal to go to the bathroom once a week. Some doctors will say, oh, don't worry about it. You go once a week, that's fine. Little babies
I can't even imagine.
Little babies poop after every meal.
Yeah.
Then what happens later in life? You go to
And our
once
dogs
a day.
do as well.
Yeah.
I feed my dog and like 30, 45 minutes later, I let him out and they go to the bathroom.
Yeah.
No, absolutely. And magnesium, the function of magnesium is to soak up water. And so it becomes the milk of magnesia is the most laxative. Other magnesiums are less laxative, but all of them irritate the stomach just a little bit to give you that, I need to go to the bathroom. You just have to find your happy zone with the dose.
The right dosage.
And the form of magnesium. There's seven typical forms that you find on the market. Each one of them has more specific purpose. But like milk of magnesia is magnesium oxide. And that's the most soak the water, let you go to the bathroom, laxative form of magnesium.
I just don't like the idea of being like every day having to take like a laxative or
Right.
something. But for me, I know if I eat certain fibrous foods, lots of color, but key is hydration.
Yep.
Just keeping everything
And
going through.
another thing internally, oil. Internal oil, because you put oil in the engine of the car, it runs smooth. If the oil runs out, the engine seizes. So people are scared of the calories. I'm not doing
I'm not olive oil,
Yeah.
avocado.
Olive oil,
Yeah.
avocado oil, coconut oil. Buy tablespoons. Don't worry about those calories. Get rid of the calories from empty sugars and empty sodas and empty juices. But people are constipated, and we see that a lot with exercisers because of the high protein diet. And not enough vegetables because their goal is protein. I got to eat as much protein as I can. I'm competing, and they will inevitably get constipated. So without going to the laxatives, we say put a tablespoon of oil, olive oil. Not a lot of people can drink straight.
Yeah, coconut oil in your coffee. That's a good one.
That's a good one. But coconut oil into anything that you're mixing in a blended drink and
smoothie.
Oatmeal, like hot cereal if you're doing it in the blender, protein smoothie shake. Coconut oil, flaxseed oil, any good omega-369, the good omega-369s. And olive oil, amazing now, the trend, and it's been actually came out of Europe first, and now it hit the United States when people are drinking about an ounce of olive oil a day, either first thing in the morning or before bedtime. The longevity secrets of the Mediterranean are unbelievable. You're talking about the Greeks and the Turks who all drink in addition to their salads. And olive oil is the only oil in their households. They cook with it cold, hot. Good quality olive oil is heat stable. So there's no need for rancid canola oil, no need for rancid safflower oil or, some of these other oils. Soybean oil, the cheapest soybean oil.
I would also say refine your taste because you can taste the difference.
Oh my
you
God,
can.
that good olive oil.
Oh, it's so good.
I did that last night before, like with my dinner, just a little bit of balsamic olive oil and dip that fresh bread, like good bread in it.
Yeah, amazing.
So
when,
good.
When I sat in here with you before our trip to Italy last summer, it was a cycling ride, and the guide on a cycle goes, "Do you guys want to go through an olive tree plantation and see a working olive grove?" We said, absolutely. So we go in, and this guy was like, olive oil, like me, vitamins. This guy lives and breathes olive oil. Fifth generation, this amazing old castle where now they have rooms for tourists and visitors who want to come and work the farm and see what it looks like. So we go in and we sit down with a tasting of olive oil, and he brings out a whole bunch of blind olive oils, and he says, "I'm going to make you taste it. I'm going to make you seethe it through your teeth, and then you let it sit in your throat, and then you swallow it." So there's a step, and that's how they judge olive oils in Italy with medals and competitions. And you can tell what's called a lamp oil, that's garbage of the garbage, to the pristine, cold-pressed, extra virgin. There is no extra virgin. I saw a label in a grocery store.
It's true, there is
extra, and people go, "Oh my God, that's got to be extra good." That is just marketing chaos.
Yeah.
But extra virgin, and there's a definition of what cold pressing means. It's mechanical means only. Used to be old wheels grinding the olives. Now they can press it. There's stainless presses. There's storing them in stainless containers in big vats, making small production runs, having single source oil. So all of the Italian top line comes from Italy. They're not mixing it with Spain and Portugal and Italy. So when you taste that, you become this snob for olive oil or coffee or whatever.
Yeah, because it just tastes so much better.
Oh my God, yeah.
Well, your body, food is medicine. Your body craves that because you feel good after.
So we wound up asking the company, and we said, "Does anybody import it into the States?" And he goes, "No, not really." And we're like, "You guys are crappy marketers." He goes, "There's so many olive oils, and you've got all the brands in the United States that are owned by the big conglomerates, and they have fancy Italian names on them, but they're junky because we test them all." So we wind up shipping them across the ocean. And I was complaining the other day, the Trump tariff hits us on the pocket, because remember that tariff that he put back in for the shipping of goods under $800 that always had free postage and no
Yes.
tariff. Now it's a 10% tariff. So DHL or FedEx will send us an email and say, unless you pay the 10%, we cannot release the shipment out of customs. And we're like, who are you punishing? You're punishing a consumer.
Yeah. And
Or
the, and the
us, but-
small
Yeah,
small
yeah. If
business owners.
if you went to Greece and you found some vase or some piece and you want to bring it in, you have to pay a tax on that, even though it's for your personal use. So you're not hurting a company that's competing with a U.S. company. It's kind of crazy, but yeah, we said, you know what? I think our customers are willing to pay $3 extra or $2 extra for a bottle, and so far it's been amazing. Yeah, I mean it's flying off the shelves.
So one more
Well,
thing
I'm
you-
going to come
Yeah.
there and buy that.
Yeah, we'll
one
show
more
you.
thing
I'm
you
almost
can
out
get.
of my
Yeah.
olive oil.
Yeah. Oh, this has just been awesome. We could talk to you forever, Bill.
I know. We'll
Yeah.
have him back.
Yeah, we'll have you back. Okay, tell people where Wealth of Health is located and how they can call, get a hold of people if they need to make it's not a true online order, but
But we can, and even if we guide you to your local health food store and we can give you the name of a brand that we would trust and you should be able to find it in a national distribution, even that gives somebody a warm, fuzzy feeling. So if you live in our area here and you come into Idaho Falls from, I don't know, Montana, Wyoming, whatever.
which I'm sure you have a few.
Yeah.
We have a
come
lot.
down.
Yeah, we do have a lot because they come in and hit Home Depot and they hit
Costco
Yeah, and they stop. We see people from Wyoming and Montana, Twin Falls, even northern Utah. I mean, they'll come in here because it's almost as close than going down to Salt Lake, for example. We're on the corner of First and Woodruff, Wealth of Health Natural Market. If you want to call us, 208-542-0015. Email health, HEALTH, at ida.net. Or you can click on wealthofhealthnutrition.com and contact us button. It'll come in as an email, and I personally see those, and I personally respond to those. So whether it's a question on brands, on quality, on pricing, on shipping, we will get you the answer.
Yep.
So
and
wonderful.
I'll vouch for Steve,
Yeah.
your store manager. He's phenomenal.
Yeah, I've
he
known
is
Steve
so
for
good.
years
Yeah.
from training.
I just
Yeah.
cannot get him to quit drinking Monsters.
Yeah. Well, we'll put the pressure on.
Work on him.
Okay, we'll
Tell
do
him
that.
he doesn't want to look
Hey,
like Neil.
hey, Steve, your
Tell him you
hair
don't want to be like
your
Neil.
hair will grow back if you
Yeah.
quit drinking Monster.
There you go.
Yeah.
All right. Thank you so much.
Okay,
Thanks.
ladies, it was great.
Thanks for joining us today on the We Share podcast.
If you've loved what you've heard, please give us a 5-star rating. Tell your friends and share this show.
You can also follow us for recipes, lifestyle and fashion tips, book reviews, and more on WeSharePodcast.com.
Join our Share Squad and sign up for our newsletter there.
We would love to connect with you.
We share on TikTok, Pinterest, Facebook, and Instagram. Give us a follow.
A big goodbye squeeze and sending you all our love from Alex and Julie.
Join us next week on the We Share podcast.